Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of our Avengers Disney Infinity War tutorials. Now these are a number of tutorials based on the film Infinity War that was released early this year. So what we're doing, we're still based in our New York level where we have Thanos attacking New York. And in our last episode we just created the foundations of our Q-ship. Okay, so we're continuing on the same level, but what we're going to be looking at here is adding these special effects. The last thing we did on the clip was actually add sparkles, circles on the thing to make the thing look spinning round. So as you'll see me climbing up the side of the wall here, you can just see those little lighting effects. That's what we ended our last clip on. We basically finished there, and we're going to continue straight on from that particular point. But the objective of this tutorial here that I'm going to show you today is we're going to show you how to create the smoke around the side. We're going to show you how to get the jet engines to actually fire, because we set up the jet engines and that's how it's set up. We'll put the lightning as well that we see coming around as Spider-Man spins around, and we're going to prepare the cars. Now you have to set the cars up, because in the next clip we're going to show you how we use the wind to smash the cars around the whole place and complex. So that's what we've got set up. So there is one more clip based on this Q-ship to come. And then we have a number of other clips planned over the upcoming weeks up towards Christmas. So we have a Guardian of the Galaxy level come up called What Happened to the Asgardians. So that's coming. We have a Captain America level based in Edinburgh. So we'll have that planned. We've also got a Thor level, how we get the star to jumpstart the star. I've got a way of doing that particular part. And we're also going to have a Wakanda level Black Panther part where we have the big battle at the end. I'm trying to think of ships and vehicles to appear. So these are all going to be stringed together up the upcoming weeks. Now a lot of you have been very patient and been waiting about 4 months since my last lot while I did all the various calculations working out how it would all pull together. So hopefully you're going to like these. So please put your comments, tell me what you think of what you see so far. Are we doing the right thing? Are you still playing Disney Infinity? Because there are a number of games coming out over the next few months, so my timing is not brilliant. So let's see if I can sway you away from Red Dead Redemption and get you building some stuff once in a while. I doubt that's going to happen. Once the Red Dead comes out, I think we're all just going to give up on this for a while. But I will keep these clips coming. Right, so what we're going to do is we'll carry straight on where we left off, and we're going to show you then how to carry on building the rest of this Q-ship. So where we left on the last clip, we are physically going straight from there. What we're going to do now is we're going to create some lightning effects, so that you know those sparks that the ship's coming through. So we're going to use the locators, and we're going to get straight in here. And you'll see I've got 2 to 3 different types of locators come up, because we've got different types of lightning we can use. Yeah, and I didn't want it to always be in the same place. I didn't want lightning just to keep shining. I want it to keep jumping around the ship, so it looked like it was moving. So we're going to go here and we're going to create 3 effects generators for all the 3 different types of lighting that we're going to use. Okay. We are also going to need a logic gate to obviously trigger these off. I can't find my logic gate all the time, which is stupid because I need them on the screen. So I need a repeater to keep the thing going across on the screen. So I need a repeater. I've got the logic gate at the side actually already, because that's where we use the actual item on the list, and I need my randomizer. Sorry. Now you have to obviously have watched the previous clip for this tool to make sense, because they do daisy chain quite nicely. But you'll see here is we have this light gate here that I showed you in the last clip, which starts the circles and the lightning bolts and everything spinning around the screen. So I'm going to use that same one gate to trigger the lightning as well. So in this case, this is going to be my focal point, which is saying this starts the effect. So that one we did last week, when we press those, we're going to get the circles all spinning round. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a new logic connection on this logic gate, and we're going to say new logic connection. Can we go to our repeater and can we turn that on? And that repeater is going to constantly spin round and then generate lightning to occur. So we say go on effect. Right, now what speed do we want to send it through, to how many seconds you want? So it's 5 or 4. About 5 seconds, not probably too bad. Maybe 4 seconds because the line. I think that's set it to 3. There you go, set it to 3. Typical. I thought 4 would probably be better, but oh well. Oh, there you go. I did set it to 4. There you go. So we got that on 4. So what we're going to do now is when we repeat that. So what we're going to do is new logic connection on repeat. Yeah. Can you now make the randomizer active? So what that do is that's instantly now going to generate a number. So new logic connection. When we get number 1, I'd like you to do an effect. So can you play once, not loot by the way, you want it once, can you play the lightning effect? So let's go down to electric FX, and in there you will see that we have lightning strike. Okay, well that's connected to that one. So same option on here, new logic connection, when triggered number 2, so it's going to randomly generate a number, can we have lightning strike number 2? So in there, go across there, down to the electric FX and lightning strike number 2. And the same thing with this one, new logic connection, when number 3 appears, yeah, can we have lightning strike number? So, but this time there isn't a lightning strike number 3, so we're going back to number 2 again, but it's going to be in a different sorry, lightning strike number 1, because lightning strike number 1 is a lot thicker, it's a lot bolder, but the number 2 is a lot thinner option on the screen. Now what we've got to do is we've got to link each of those corresponding locators to that item on the screen. And if you ever do locate, it's easier, and someone pointed out to me in my previous clip, it's so much easier to go from locator back to the actual item instead of the actual vehicle. So if I go to the effects, I have to go down to locator and then connect to it. Okay, if I start with the locator, I click on the first option is locator connection, so it will go straight back that way. So it's sometimes easy to go backwards, and you'll see there I've gotten very close there, so make sure you select the right box when you do this. Now all this logic that I put here on the roof, we're then going to hide, and again I don't show you that to the end of the next clip, where I'll just hide that all out the way so no one will ever see it, but it's quite handy, just stick them on the roof so you can do it, so it's quite close by. Now strangely enough, I thought I could get all these clips all crammed into one item, and then when I started editing them and putting them together I realised I had like 3 hours of footage. So I've managed to condense it down, but you're still getting 2.5 hours of clips for me. So you've waited a while for this, so apologies for the wait, but I'm hoping that you're liking what you've seen. So put your comments through, tell me what you think of these. I have asked you to mention that in the previous clip, but what do you think of the Q-ship? Is it good? Did you like it? Anyway, and like I say, I'm always trying to show you things that you haven't done before, so I'm trying to find different techniques, different things, and I think the next series of levels based on the moves, I can still show you new stuff, hopefully. Or variations of stuff that I may have shown you before, but still trying to twist it a bit. So we've got all those locators connected to that, which is good. Now what we're going to do is reposition where do we want the lightning to appear. So I want it to appear around the city hall, so some on the place, and we're just going to scatter them around on the screen. Really as simple as that, really. Just apply them around, just move them around. But it's a lot easier to have the locators on them close by while you connect them, and then once you've done it you can then go and move it. So that's why I tend to group them all together and space them around like that on the screen. So I'm just positioning them in different places along the ground where the lightning's going to shine up and do on the screen. Sadly enough, we're not going to do any lightning thunder noises because I want the sound effect that we're going to show you in this one, this humming noise which you saw when I flew Spider-Man through. That humming noise like as an engine of a ship. And I combined two sounds together. So again, I haven't gone too much into sounds. I did one with the trash compactor lift, but different adding sound effects is quite cool. So hopefully you're going to like that. So, and I hope that you like. I break the clips up into stages so you can pick elements out that you can use for yourself. So you don't have to use this for the Q-ship. You can use these sound effects, these lightning effects, whichever level you wanted to do. I've always wanted to do a horror level. I just haven't worked out how to get the levels done. But obviously, as I showed you in the last clip, it's taken a while to put this together, but I have been playing a lot of games since then, so just get used to different games. So, and I like playing different games. I've platinumed quite a few recently, so I like playing The Division. Yeah, it went off, I came back to it. It took me a while to do it, but I've got that finally platinumed, and there's some quite elements I quite like. I quite like the random underground part. I thought that was quite cool. I've then played Life is Strange. I quite like the storytelling. It's really sad that we can't do storytelling. This is quite good. I then platted Ratchet and Clank. That's a great platforming level. That was quite good. So that gave me some other ideas that we could use. And what was the final game I platted? Oh yeah, I did. I think I've platted Drive Club on the VR. So some driving ones, like a different mixture. Oh yeah, and also platinum Hellblade. The is it Senua's Sacrifice? That was quite good. Bit deep, but quite good as well. So I quite liked all those. And I'm now halfway through the new Spider-Man game, which is awesome. That is great. So I've got that and God of War to finish next. But I'm still going to get you these clips out to you, so don't worry. I still keep coming back to Disney Infinity. Right, so I've now placed all these locators, and we should be done. Sorted. So we've now got all the lightning scattered around. That's all triggered from our top part. So that one locator sends off the lights, that other one sends the lightning, and the lightning just randomly goes through the screen. Now the other thing we need is some smoke. Okay, and some smoke towards the bottom screen. So I'm going to get another effects generator tool. Yeah, and we obviously need some locator. I just don't want one, but I want a load of smoke around. So I'm going to use a couple of locators here. I'm going to use 5 of these. So again, just going to link these up. This is relatively all straightforward stuff, and this is roughly stuff that you've seen me do before, but again it's just looking how we trigger this one locator here that triggers everything through to the lightning, does the actual lights, and now we're going to do the gas. So input this item in here. So can we do the effects, and can we smoke? That's a smoke one. Now on the smoke one, what we can pick on here is we want large smoke area. Yeah, so I want large smoke area to be good. I don't want the plume because they're all tunnels. Yeah, so like the plume. Now we could, as the battle goes on, have more fire spaced around. It just took more effort. And I want to get these clips. There's lots of things you can do with this because I don't use a lot of the memory on here. So what I'm now doing again, like I did with the previous effect generators, I'm now linking locators to all of them. And then I'm going to base those locators scattered around the actual item on the screen here. So not too bad. So you'll see here, set these locators all up. So it's all relatively easy, this bit. There's nothing too bad. It's just, again, layout is extremely important. There's little tips for you. So guys, tell us what other games you've been playing as well. What other games you're still having to play around with? What do you slightly using? Do you go back to other games? Has anyone played the new Spider-Man game, which is pretty awesome? Now I don't have an Xbox, but I know the new Spider game is like based on the engine of Sunset Overdrive. And I thought if I ever did get an Xbox, that would be the game I wanted to play. I always thought that looked good. But like I say, there's a load of games coming up, so you can probably come back. These clips will all be there ready by Christmas anyway, so the whole thing will be finished. So if you wanted to say, right, during the Christmas holidays or half term, we'll crack on with these. But I finally got there, so, and there's still going to be more coming next year. So if there are long gaps between my clips, that you'll know that I am giving up, I am practicing, I am working things out. I am trying it. I do keep coming back to this. This is my program I use for de-stressing. Just I love building, just take my mind off anything that I'm doing. So I tend to use games for. It's the one thing to switch off. Quite like. Anyway, there you go. Now we get these all set up. Still love this game. Still gets me angry. Someone posted a comment the other day just like, why did Disney do it? And it's just like, yeah, I still delay it every time you load it up. You go, seriously? I don't think it would have been bad if you could have still shared with friends. That should have been left on. Why couldn't they have set that up or done a fix for it? Once they realised they were closing it, Disney did something, we're going to do an update for you. Because there's some companies that were closed. Let's take, for example, Drive Club. Yeah? Drive Club, as you mentioned, is an absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And those guys developed and twisted. They had problems with the rollout on it, but it was brilliant. And I have to say, Sony messed up letting them go. Because even now, after Drive Club's got, it's still one of my favourite driving games. It's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, it's just you thought they could have used the developers, let you still do in Disney. If they'd left you so you could share your story boxes, and also not only that, you could still use the text tool. I understand why they had the text tool, but that's annoying. But oh well. Like I mentioned earlier, I do feel quite privileged that I've still got Disney Infinity and others don't, so it's quite handy. Right, so that's now our smoke scattered around the screen. What we're going to do now is we're going to go down to our gameplay toys, and there's a speaker. Now, I've done a bit like I mentioned this in the previous game in the trash compactor, but this here we're going to have actually 2 sound effects play, but you only need 1 speaker. Now what you always think is, because you've got a speaker, the sound's going to happen on top of the roof. Well no, like most things, like the special effects, you can link the speaker to locators, which comes in quite handy. Yeah. So we're just going to come through here. So I need a couple of little tools. Right. What I need is I need a repeater. There it is. So there's my repeater on here. And what I want is I want to keep either playing. Now I need two repeaters because I'm going to have two different effects. Okay. So again, this is my triggering point. Yeah. So that's done the lightning. Now does the lightning, does the smoke, does the lights. Now what we're going to do is when we input there, can we input a signal into the repeater? Can we turn those on? So new logic connections. Yep. And can we turn those on there? Now the sound effects here roughly last about 2-3 seconds of time. So you can set them different options on the effects. One of them we're going to have is like an electric buzzing noise. So you're going to see that spinning around. So we're going to try different effects. So we're going to do it here on repeat. What we're going to do is we're going to say, right, in that noise, can we go to general? And general, where most of all the cool sounds are. We'll go down this list, and it's quite near the bottom. There we go. And can we? It wasn't electric. There was electricity, but there's electricity too. Keep going. Right, that's it. First one here. Have that as loud machinery. That's like the humming noise of the noise. And then I want like the crackle. Yeah. And because it's a humming noise, I think we need that set that time. So I've set that to a rate of 2 on that one. Yeah. Now the same thing applies to this one. So same thing again. New logic connection on repeat. Can we go to the same sound effect? Yeah. And can we play there? So I'm reusing. You could use 2 sound cards, but there's no need to. You can use the same one. But we're going to use not electricity, but electricity 2. I think it's called. I have to say, there's a weird choice of some of these sounds. There really are. There you go, electricity 2. That's the one you need. Okay, so that's now going to play those 2 sound effects. Now, if you don't change anything, it all comes out of that speaker, which we don't want. Okay, so what we're going to do with properties, I think I forgot to change that. So I changed that to with electricity. I think it was 3 on that one. So what the machinery 2 and that one 3. But like I say, the sound will come out of that place, but we don't want that, and so we're going to create 2 locators. There they are. Right, so 2 locators here. In fact, don't even know that because they're all going to come out. I can put them from the 1 locator actually. So only 1 locator, new locator connection. Yeah, all the sounds will come out of that one place. If I had multiple locators, it would come out of different places. So that's the only one I need. So that will now play all those sounds from that particular point. And the reason for that is I want the sound to come from the center of the ship. So we're going to put that bang on in the center of the circle. So you now get that humming noise. If you play back the beginning of this clip, when Spider-Man sings through, you get that really nice humming noise, which is why I flew through it. So I played different sounds and clips for you, and I thought that was quite cool. It did sound like the ship. I was quite pleased with that. And it's little things like that that make that level just that little bit better. So you'll see here, we're going to do a lot of stuff here that you don't see much change, but it's these little things that make the thing come to life and really give the level that depth that you want. Yeah. Now the properties on there, you'll see it's got 3D sound. That you need to keep on. If you switch that off, then what happens is the sound is throughout the whole level and everyone can hear it. You want to keep it on because you only want the sound to be located from that locator. Right, now the next sound effect we're going to do is the jets. Well, I say sound effect, it's not a sound effect at all, it's the jet engines. So what we want to do is we want those jets to be switched on, but those jets don't stay permanently on, which is really annoying. So you press the jets on, you go, have you on please, and then after 5 seconds they switch off, which is so frustrating. So I want to keep like the jets are constantly hovering on the screen. So you'll see here I need a repeater. Okay, so again this repeat here is going to repeat every so often, so new logic connection. What we're going to do here is going to do repeat, and that's can be from that particular screen. Yeah, that locator there. So new logic connection. What we're going to do on that repeater is going to switch that on. So on there, can we repeat on that option there? So can we switch that on? That repeater goes through, and that's going to go to this new logic gate that I've just added. So can we repeat? Can we input a signal into this logic gate? Now to make my life easier, and so I don't keep going back and forth, I'm just going to pick this logic gate up, and I'm going to move this to the ship. So I'm going to go to where all the jet engines are. So I'm just going to place it close by on the jet engines. So you'll see here that we have, 4 at the bottom, 3, so we have 7 jet engines that we have. So in this case here, I'm just going to go on here, on output, so new logic connection. And by the way, keep saving. I'm saying this now, if you get it crashing and you didn't save, it's not a problem. So on output, can we go to one of these jet engines, and can we switch the jet engine on? But in 5 seconds it then gets switched off, so flipping pointless. I used it in my Echo base as like a firewall to get through, but this time I actually want it to look like a jet engine. And again, I've been dying to use this tool for that particular purpose. I haven't found a way of doing it, and it actually didn't look too bad the way they hang on the jet. So actually, I'm quite pleased the way this looked. There's tools that I want to use and I haven't found a use for it, and then I go, oh, I can now do this particular effect. Like the lightning, I'd be wanting to use the lightning for a bit sometimes. So, but oh well. So here we go. So I've done that one. Okay, and we're going to switch jet engine on. So I've now done those ones, and we have to go around and set this all up. So like I say, we did the tricky bit, which was the circle. This is all the basic stuff now, which is just saying, can you repeat on a cycle so the jet engine's on all the time? And again, you can pick these elements out and use different parts for your own level, what you think you can use. But I always advise, if you are creating a level, always make little notes or just list the things of what you think to do, because you always do get lost of what goes where. And again, I preach this on all my tutorials. Make sure you place them structure your logic connections in a place that you can go back and understand where they are. And you won't realise it, but you're all programming here. This is all the programming part. So I've now got all these linked up to all these 7 actual items. So I'm now going to bring that logic gate back. And that gives us now the jet engines being constantly on the screen. Yeah. So I'm just going to put that down, that there, repeats it on there, and gets that working. So we've now got our jet engines done. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put a couple more building blocks, because what we want to do is put the room section on our screen. So you'll see here, I was going to get little blocks. I'm going to bring it back a bit. I was going to have it flush, but by sinking it back a bit, it just gave it that little bit more of a spaceship type air vent. I quite liked it, so I actually brought it back in just a half a square. Yeah, so I've just put these inside, just set back a little bit to be a little different. Yeah, just to fill in the little gaps. So I quite like the fact they went through on the screen. So, and then obviously you're going to make one of these look like a cockpit. Now the other bit that we have on the level, which I didn't show you in this part actually on the beginning, but I did show you on the other in the previous clip, is that when the level's finished, we want the user to come onto the spaceship, smash open a panel, and then go into a doorway that will take them into the next level. Okay, so in this case here, we need some demolishing bricks. Yeah, so I've got to go to the gameplay toys, I think, or is it collectibles? No, I think it's under gameplay toys. So let's go back through here. I can never find them. Right, where are we going? Yeah, right, gameplay toys, and then we go through it. So somewhere along here, I was in the right place to start with, are some building bricks. Yeah, and these bricks are destructible. Now you don't get too carried away with them. If you have too many, or they do gobble up your memory, I've found. I was trying to use them for everything, then realised that it doesn't actually work. Yeah, so in here we've got some dynamite, we've got some panels that break. When I did also the detention block, but in this case here, these little blocks here, like these, you can do little ones or large boxes. So you could do a small little block on there, or I can pick a large one. Yeah, so I'll pick the large one here, and I'm just going to fill those in on the panel. Yeah, I'm just going to put them on and just block that section there on the screen. Yeah, I only need a little entrance, but anything those two, either way you can use it to smash it out, but we're going to put those underneath. Right. And that way the user can then smash open, like so in the film when Spider-Man breaks open, you can smash open a door and there'll be a door in there. Yeah, so a little doorway that they can break through a screen. Now we're going to have to hide that during the game because we don't want it to do the doorway until they've beaten the boss, which is typical. Yeah. Right, so what we'll do now is let's just change the colour of the entire ship. Let's get that all changed and formatted. That the effect's cool. And by chance, I don't know why I didn't see this. There's a Tatooine metal somewhere along here. That was really good. And I've been looking all through these and I missed this. So where is it? It was a real good option. Here you go. Tatooine brown metal tile. Perfect for the spaceship. So I'll probably be using this more often. So in this case, we haven't done any blocks. So I'm going to theme everything now. Everything gets done. I thought it was quite good. And like I mentioned, that's also done the bricks underneath. So because I said theme all the bricks that we did in our previous clip where we set these up, because these are the bricks that we're using for the curve, all those are set up on the screen. So that's quite cool. So what we're going to do now here is, I'm just going to put a little panel at the front as well and a bit later on, but I thought that was quite good. So we're going to change this, and I'm going to get this to choose this as chrome, and that gives it that type of glass cockpit section of the spaceship, which was quite cool. The only downside, and I say I highlighted in the other clip, that it's a bit too grey because the actual ship was very red in the film, so we did add a red stripe, but we'll cover that a bit later on. Because we'll do the red stripe once we have the boss battle, so we'll show you that part a bit later on. So I will finish off that part in my next clip, I believe. So that's cool. So there's our little cockpit section. Right, so we've now got that there. That triggers all that off, so I'm happy with that. That's our special effects with the ship. Right, so what we're going to do is, how do we trigger this off in the game? What do we do here on the screen? How do I get the whole thing to work? So what I'm going to need here, right, is a couple of tools. Okay, I'm going to need a logic gate. And I'm going to have another logic gate. Right, this logic gate is going to be that starts everything. I've got the one logic gate there up above that does the effects. This logic gate starts the whole game. So when my level starts, that's the one that's going to do everything. So new logic connection, on output, can you input into this logic gate? And when I input into there, I know all those effects will get started and running. Okay. And it's basically isolating your programming, so you know one section does the effects, this section does the starting, another effect's going to do the car, another section is going to do winds. We're going to break it all down in elements so you can trace it and follow it through the screen. Now, if you follow the previous clip, I mentioned that to start all the bricks that come round in the curve, all we need to do is switch the first brick on. If we switch that path on, the rest all daisy chain across, okay, and they'll all appear. So therefore, what we say there is, on that logic gate, on output, can you switch? So on output of that thing, can you switch that path on? And they will now suddenly start peering around the spaceship, and our spaceship will be performed. We can't do that until the very last thing of our objects. Now, what I also mentioned, if you look in clip 1, that there's a flashing bricks. The bricks keep flashing as it jumps to one side to the other, and I showed you it going wrong. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn those paths off. So what we're going to do is, when delay is complete, can we switch off these paths? That's going to stop the bricks rotating, and that gets rid of the little flicker that you have on the screen. Okay, so you're going to turn those off, but it's only the middle one, by the way. Don't do the 3 edge ones. It's only the middle one we're going to switch off. So new logic connection, when delay complete, can you switch just the middle to the ones that don't have anything spinning on them? Yeah, so it's just that one. This is the outer ring now we're going to switch off. Now, when we switch that off, right, what that will do then is that will then stop the cycle and the clip fill there on the block. Now, what I have noticed, occasionally when I've stopped it, a brick has been in the wrong place. So I advise that when you do stop the tool, you're not actually looking at the item. Right, so in here, this will be my last brick. So we go through a list. So these all connect to the path as they go through. And the very last one is here. So when we get onto this last one here, that's the last brick, which will then follow in and go round. Yeah. So what I can do is new logic connection. Yes, new logic connection. When point is reached on path, what we're going to do now is say, can we start this time delay? By starting that time delay, will give me a set number of time, right? That set number of time before it then turns the whole path off. And now that gives me all the time that I know all the bricks are now on that route. Okay, and we can test it. So I can put in a little switch here. So what I think of doing here, let's test to see the whole thing works. And this is the example that I showed you at the end of the first clip. So I'm just going to put a little button in here. Now remember, don't press the button to test it until you've saved the work. So new logic connection, on press, input signal. That now test everything, and everything will come to life. So I can save it, press it, and check it works. Now the one thing I was testing there was how long do I need for this to work on the screen. So you didn't realise that I ran all that, and I actually need 7 seconds. roughly about 7 seconds for that to work. So in that property there, I'm going to choose that option and say, can you set that to 7 seconds? So if you leave that button on there now, set that timer to 7 seconds. So we're going to go to properties, 7 seconds, yeah. Save it, replay the thing back, and then press the button. You'll see how all the effects worked. Then reset it, reload it back up again, and continue. So we've now got that set up, which is great. We've now got the bricks and circle complete. Now we've got to deal with the cars. Okay, the car section. Now you can't just use standard cars. That was the annoying thing. That's another test that I had to do for you. The normal cars aren't affected by the wind. Well, that's just pointless, isn't it? So what we needed to have to be cars that the only the Disney characters can actually drive. They're the ones that actually get affected. So what we can do is going to create a logic gate to get the cars to all spawn. So this last bit of the clip here is just created all the setup that we need for the car configuration. That's the plan for that, really. Now you may ask, well, why don't you just stick the cars on? Why do you have to have them spawn using a tool? Well, one little glitch with saving these cars, they don't always guarantee to load up in the exact same spot when you load up in the next time, which is really annoying. So we need to make sure the cars are always in the same spot. So by using them in a locator point and we get them to spawn, we guarantee that the cars will be in the correct space. So if you just go in and just dump the cars in position, when you load it up, you may find they have moved position and therefore they don't get the wind effect that I want as from the spaceship. It only wants to be cars near the spaceship that I want to be flying around, which is why you saw the other cars not moving. So I've created 10 Avengers playset. These Avengers things, this little mat here allows you to generate the car. Now, one of my very, very first clips, I think, about 4 years ago, showed you how to use one of these things. And what we're going to do here is we're going to create a thing for the car to spawn, but we don't want the cars to appear on top of the roof. That's just flipping pointless. So what we're going to do here is we're going to link each of these car mats to a locator. So just above them here, you'll see I'm putting a locator above each one. So what you do is you link the mat to the locator, and then we'll put the locator back down on the road so we can leave the mats up here. So all the cars will appear where they are connected to the locator. Okay, and if you look at the cars, you can go and find which one suits it. So you have to look through the list. So in this particular setting here, I've got these locators on this box. So I have to go to each one of these boxes and go new locator connection and link them back to the actual map. So this will say spawn location. Yeah, cool. Same again. So each one you do, going to set those up. So I have to go through each one of those and connect those locators to their relevant spot. So now that I have them all connected, what I can do now with my logic gate is I'm going to send on output, can we go and generate a car? So in this case here we go here, right, it says, well, which car do you want to generate? So we go into the Ventures set. Right, there are some cars that are appropriate and some aren't. So Tony Stark's one is one of them. Yeah, but like I say, if you open it up, open the cars up and pick them, you can get to see what the cars are first, and then you go through. So I wanted to make sure that most of the cars were different. So I've got a couple from the Avengers. So there was that one, and then I used the Shield Cycle, the little motorbike, I think. Yep. Alright, so that's that one. Then we do the next one. And as I say, these cars, when the wind is switched, which we go through in our third clip with this one, that's when we get the things flying back and forth. And I'm going through each of these, picking up a different car from the list. You'll see a number of different types. I'm trying to make them each different, but you can choose which one you think you fancy. Obviously, it has to be a car. I don't want an aeroplane or a spaceship or anything like that. It has to be a car. And I haven't tried. You can't do anything to do with your power disc. You know, if you had like a spaceship on a power disc, it has to be on what's the defaults on here. And then there's that under the Toy Box one, you've got the Incredible settings. So if you go to Toy Box, you've got the Mr. Incredible's car as well. That's quite good. Now these cars aren't going to be connected to any path at all. They're just going to set randomly on the road. But when the wind blows, they're going to move around, and that's when you get that effect at the beginning of the film. You know, in the Avenger movie when Iron Man's with Doctor Strange, they come out and then the cars suddenly come bursting down. That was the type of effect I was going for. So this is what I'm doing here. So we're setting the cars up. Sadly, when we set these cars up, that's it. You're going to have to look at the next clip, which is being uploaded as we speak, and you'll then see how you get the effect with the car to come through and the flames and everything else like that on the screen. But really, I honestly thought these clips were all going to fit into one, because I only can record on a PS4. You can only record 60 minutes. So I thought I could get this whole thing 60 minutes. And when I put all the clips together, I realised that over 3 hours of footage, and I've managed to cut it down. But yeah, it's like, what? Right, so there we go. They're all set up. Now we've got to go and position the cars in different places. Oh yeah, and also, by the way, I'm going to be leaving a link on our website to download the pictures of the map. So what I've done is I've taken various different angles of the city, just so you can get ideas yourself and readjust it and move it around, so you get the city side. I always think the city's too small, but when you're playing it, it is very big. Because when you look at the side, it looks tiny from here, but it is actually quite large for you to go through. And Spider-Man in the city is still brilliant. Cool. So I'm just positioning these cars here. Now, this main road is quite important, and the reason for that is I want to make sure that it goes down that entire road and crashes it. So I'm making sure there's a number of cars here because I want them to shoot down and crash on the screen. Now you'll notice also I've got other path tools around the edge. These are path tools like, you know, when I did Life to Make a City Comes Alive, I was going to have people walking around. I actually delete all those off in the final version. Yeah, but they were all set up to have moving cars, but I got rid of those because they were just getting in the way. So don't worry about that. It's just part of my template that I was doing. I mean, this level compared to my other ones is quite basic. It is just a shoot enemies, shoot some targets, shoot some enemies, shoot some targets, shoot some enemies, and then there's a boss fight, and then you go to the ship. But like I said, based on the film, it's all the effect and the environment that's the bit that sets the scene. I'm pleased how this has come out. So I'm hopefully see what feedback I've got. See if you guys are still watching it. So let's move all I'm doing is just moving these places around. It's just trying to position them in a place where I can see. And like I said, that main road there is the key one, because that's the road they come crashing through the list on the screen. They all come crashing through that, so that's going to be quite important. I want that to make sure that they come through the screen. And also, what you'll notice I'm doing there as well is, you'll see when I click onto it, we can choose the position of where the car wants to be, the dot of the car. If you look at it, you see that little blue dot there? That little dot tells me the direction the car's going to be pointing when it comes out. And I nearly forgot to tell you about that. Whew, it's close. So you'll see here, wherever you want the car to appear, so I'm on the road here. So put it down the road, but then the dot's going to be pointing, the car's going to be pointing the other way. So you can see that's going to be facing downwards. Now when these cars finally get generated, the cool thing is they are just loose cars, they're not connected. So I knew that when we applied the wind, they would all come crashing against the walls and the buildings. But what I didn't realise is that they would stack up on top of each other, they get pushed up. They actually gave me a better effect than I was actually going for, and I was really pleased the way they worked. So the cars come up, will bounce on top of each other, and will stack on top like there is a pile up. So it gives the impression that some weird force has come crashing through. So the end result was by far better than I was predicting. So we've got all these cars in different positions for the cars to slide forward. One thing we're going to do in the next clip is I obviously didn't just want the cars to come crashing one side and that effect to be over. So what I do is we get the cars to fly back and forth, so it looks like more chaos is going across, and they also get in the way, which you saw when in the first clip when Iron Man gets hit. But we'll cover that in our next clip. I'm hoping you're liking what we've done. Like I say, there's a number of different settings on here. There are going to be a number of clips now planned throughout from now and hopefully up till Christmas, which is going to be based on this whole theme of the Avengers Disney Infinity War. Yeah, so the next one after this is going to be the Guardian Galaxy level I've got, which is a slight variation because we want to know what happened to the Asgardians. So it's basically left off when Rocket and Thor go off and Star-Lord's left behind. Alright, now last thing I need to show you here before I forget is this section. This logic gate which triggers it all off, when we send this through, which is great, we know it goes up and goes back down, that actually has to now trigger the cars to be spawned. Okay, so we're going to do new logic connection, on output, spawn the cars. Yeah. And that will spawn them there. Right, well that's it. I'm going to get cracking on with the other clips. Like I say, more are coming. It's taken a while to get these all stringed together and plotted out because it does take a while to put this through. I did expect this clip to be roughly 2.5 hours long, but that just shows the detail we're going into. Thanks for watching. I hope you like these, and thanks for being patient for all those subscribers of you. Thank you very much. And to say, hopefully it's been worth it. Speak to you very, very shortly. Bye.